today's going to be a little bit different because we have a featured guest. Woo-hoo. It's Khoi. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we start?
I was born in Vietnam. I lived there for 10 years. Moved here around 2002. It was quite of a culture shock. It was really tough at first, but I've been loving it here in the US. Life is good. Some of you might know I used to be a dancer, and that now I'm a DJ, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
When you guys did, or you and your family, when you did decide to move to Vietnam, what was the whole inspiration or motivation behind that? Were you guys satisfied with that decision? Was it hard at first?
Super, super difficult, and it's kind of like a pretty sensitive topic for me too, because I was 10. I had no rights, you know, like it was all my parents' call. Just a backstory. I didn't know that my mom and dad were divorced until I moved to America. It's pretty crazy.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So they were divorced prior?
But they never told me.
Okay.
So they were in the process of...
Yeah. And I didn't know anything. I was just like, oh, you know, mom and dad are cool, but, you know, mom is probably going to bring me to America first and dad might join me later. So, but like at the same time, it was kind of like out of nowhere. I remember really clearly, like out of nowhere, my dad was like, hey, you're going to go to America next month. I was like, huh? You know, like...
Did you want to?
No, I did not, because back then I loved Vietnam. Like that was, I mean, I lived there for in the beginning of my life. Like everything that I knew about was in Vietnam.
Your childhood.
Yeah, my whole childhood. Like I didn't care about U.S. at all. Like, I'm just like, I want to stay here. Like this is Vietnam. I love it. And out of nowhere, my dad was like, hey, your mom's gonna take you to Vietnam next month. And I was just like, wait, you really?
To the U.S.
Yeah, are you gonna come with me like later? He's like, yeah, maybe. Fast forward like 1 month later, I remember like it was tough because I love my dad a lot and I love my mom too, but like it was so like sudden. Here I am like 10 years old, like my whole like all I knew is Vietnam.
Yeah, that's not super young.
Yeah,
I don't remember everything.
Yeah.
I don't even know like English that well too, so I'm like, dude, what's gonna happen? You know, I won't let go of my dad. Like he couldn't even take me to the airport. That's how bad it was because he was hurt and he knows like he can't be there because like I don't know, he might like take me back or whatever. I don't know. But I remember he was just like, I just can't go to the airport with you. I cried for the whole, like, I would say like 12 hours of the flight. I was like, why am I even like going to America? I don't want any of this, you know? It gets even more wild because the moment I landed in LAX, I still remember because Vietnam is like, the weather is never really cold, especially when you're from Saigon. I remember when I landed in LAX, I was like, damn, this is cold here. And I landed during Christmas.
Okay.
So, like it was super cold. I was like wearing like 3 layers. And then I saw this man like with my mom, like helping with the luggages. I was like, I called him uncle at first. I was like, hey, you know, are you like my uncle, whatever, like a friend of my mom. And later, like my mom like pulled me to the side and she's like, oh, that's your stepdad. I was like, yo, what? Like, you didn't tell me any of this,
out of
you know?
nowhere.
She's
So
like,
he lived here already.
Yeah.
Okay.
He lived here for a long time, and she's like, that's your stepdad. I was like, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was not welcoming. Like me, like I was like, dude, screw that. Like, who are you? Like, you're not my dad or whatever. Like, I don't like you.
I mean, no warning at all. That's
no warning.
Yeah, that's a little hard.
So she's kind of like forced it upon me, and she's like, oh, you gotta be nice to him, whatever. The whole ride from LAX back to our house in America was weird. I still remember. I'm just like, I just want to go back. Like, I want to go back to Vietnam. Who is this guy? You're 10.
Yeah, for sure.
You're just like on a more positive note, I do remember like when I was living in Vietnam, I do love like Christmas. Like we have it in Vietnam too, but like I remember like Cali did Christmas so well.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys know. Like I'm like,
we're
damn.
big
I see like Christmas trees, like decorations everywhere. And I do have a really fond memory of entering like my first like house in America, and I could smell like, you know, the Christmas smell.
The pine cones.
The pine cones and everything. I was like, dude, this smells kind of nice. You know, like it's kind of heartwarming. I'm like,
where did you live?
Originally Garden Grove.
Garden Grove.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
We live in a small townhouse.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember like like it's all warm inside the house because like it's cold outside.
Yeah.
They had the heater on. I was like, wow, it feels like I was
Feels
like,
nice.
if what this is what Christmas is, like this feels like Christmas. Even though I was sad, like they decorated the whole house. I was like, I remember seeing that in like the movies and stuff.
Was Garden Grove similar to how it is today?
Definitely more ghetto back then.
But I mean, was it
really?
like populated? Like was like
because
Vietnamese?
A lot of
Garden Grove
Vietnamese.
is-
Yeah.
Okay, so so that transition probably was a little bit easier then.
Not really.
Oh, still
we
not.
can go to the next topic. But it was not an easy transition for me at all.
What were some of your first impressions you had when you moved to America?
Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
I always loved Christmas in Vietnam. I watch about it in movies and stuff. But like Vietnam, we did Christmas, but obviously it's never like as grand as how we do it in America. Like Americans take it seriously.
Oh yeah.
On the ride from LAX home, you see like
The
Santa
lights
Claus,
everywhere,
yeah,
yeah.
Christmas lights. Every houses have like some sort of like decorations. When we arrived to my house, my parents' house in America, like it smells like pine cones. It smells like Christmas. Like I never knew what Christmas smelled like until that moment. And until this day, like I love that smell.
Yeah.
Like Christmas is still my favorite holidays till this day because of that. It was cold, but like I felt really lonely too because of the coldness.
Yeah.
Because I've always been like under like the warm weather, like tropical weather, so it felt lonely and cold. And to be honest, I was like hella depressed. Like on the ride home, I was like just thinking about like, going back to Vietnam. Just like,
so how did you adapt to that kind of new culture and environment? I know there were specific moments that already stood out, but that transition, how long do you think it took you to get comfortable to a place where you're like, okay, this is okay?
honestly, I came here when I was towards like the end, like the middle of fourth grade. No, fifth grade. I didn't fully like feel comfortable like being an American until eighth grade, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
So it took
It was-
you about like 3 years.
Yeah, it was really difficult for me in elementary school, especially in Garden Grove. Like, there's a lot of Hispanic kids and Vietnamese kids. To be honest, like I got picked on a lot. I also like fought back. So I got into a lot of fights in elementary school. And a lot of my friends back then were in my ESL class, which is like English development. Is it called? I think
English as a second language.
Yeah. I was in ESL for like 3 years. I was actually hella fobby. I only took like, I think like 2 or 3 months of English prior to moving here.
Okay.
Like, as like, you know, like I didn't even know they were like trying to prep me for it. They're just like, oh, take some English classes, you know. But it didn't really like
English is hard.
Yeah, I didn't get it in
It's
Vietnam.
hard.
So it's not until like ESL is when I finally understood like, oh, okay, this is how you speak English. But like the whole time, I remember like my first best friend was this Mexican kid, and we're so cool with each other. But like we didn't even talk to each other. It was just like, hey, you know, like just shake hand and just like sit there, eat lunch together, like in silence, because like both of us did not. Yeah, he's like, you know, he's in there too. Like he just moved from like Mexico or something. But yeah, I remember like we're just sitting there, like, oh hey, you're cool, I'm cool. We're just eating together. No communication or whatever.
Just kind of know.
Yeah. What pushed me to become better as like an English speaker is like I got made fun of a lot. Because I got made fun of so much, like it made me self-conscious, and like I made this journey where I'm like I have to like improve my English to the point where they don't even know that I'm from Vietnam. Like I was ashamed of being Vietnamese for a while because it's like, damn, they make fun of me. Like I don't feel like I belong here, and it's just sad because like you're just like, oh damn, I can't speak this language. Like people don't treat me the same, you know.
Yeah. So what were some of the cultural aspects that you and your family still preserve till this day?
One of the things that I'm really happy about, like in our family culture, is that it's whenever there's like a death anniversary, we take that really seriously. Like for example, my grandma passed away, and my grandpa passed away from my mom's side. We always gather like on their death anniversary, like literally everyone, cousins that I haven't seen for a while, like uncles, whatever. they always made it like a mission to all meet up like on that day. And yeah, my family, like they're really strong about like that whole family aspect. So like we always have like family gathering, and it's heartwarming sometimes. It could be stressful too because
for sure.
There's drama, like people talk shit all the time, but still I feel like it's a cool like Vietnamese culture thing that we kept, and it really like affected me too because I used that like to my everyday life too, like staying in touch with my friends like you guys. Like I want to, if I love someone, I want to hold them dear, and I just want to see them like every now and then like in the same room with me. So that's something that we still kept like as of like our culture.
With preserving Vietnamese culture, would you guys say you guys are more open to accepting death rather than how Americans are?
Depends on the people, I think.
That's a really good question too, because I struggled with anxiety for a really long time, and it all stems from death.
Really?
I always think about like dying, like, oh, what's there left of me? For me, I feel like as long as you have like families and people that love you, you don't really die as long as they
remember you.
Yeah, as long as they remember you, they carry your name, like that's when you're still alive. I feel like you're actually dead when like your whole line is gone, and they're like,
Simba now too. So
it's like
the golden
who's Khoi anymore, But like if someone still celebrate my death, like I still celebrate my dad's death, so I feel like in a way I'm keeping him alive too in my thoughts. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So when you do celebrate your dad's death, do you guys what is something like different that you guys do?
We drink Hennessy.
Like, you drink
drink
for your
Hennessy.
family.
You drink a lot.
Specifically
Do
Hennessy.
do you guys burn money?
Oh yeah, fake money.
Yeah, we burn.
Okay.
We
Not
call
real, not real money.
we call it like hell money or something, right? Like heaven money.
Like it's the afterlife money.
Afterlife money.
Oh, okay.
But they literally sell it at a Vietnamese supermarket.
Yeah.
Like they have a roll of just fake money, fake
Gold.
clothes, like paper, shoe.
That's pretty crazy.
Like they make like paper, like fancy shoe, like those shoe that you have.
Yeah.
And like like fake gold, and we just buy a bunch and we just burn it on the anniversary. Yeah.
So you know how in Vietnam you had your community, you had your family and your friends and everything. And when you left Vietnam, obviously, physically, you lost that community. So coming here, like, how did that move impact your family and relationships? And, like, what steps did you take to build your own community?
So at first, obviously, I always try to seek out people that are like me, like Vietnamese. And I did found some, like, it's sad because, like, in elementary school, I actually like sort of built like a group of friends that were all like Vietnamese, like they all accepted me. It all ranges from like Vietnamese that were born here that accepted me, and then Vietnamese that just got here too, and then we're all like in a group of friends in the elementary, and then bam, my mom's like, we're moving to Anaheim Hills, say bye to all the friends that you made. I was like, again, I was like, I try so hard, like in these last 2 years in elementary school to like finally feel like I belong, because Garden Grove there's a lot of Vietnamese there, so I was like, I love it here. Like I finally like able to find all these friends.
Anaheim Hills is nice.
Yeah, but like once I moved to Anaheim Hills, it gets crazy because 90% white people, and I feel like I didn't make any like progress. It's kind of like it sets me back because at that point I was in 7th grade and my accent was still there. Like it got a little better, but like like kids in junior high school, like they're vicious, especially like when you don't look like them. I become like this target because like I think like there was only like 5 Asian kids in our class in 7th grade.
Dang.
No, 4. And like, like the others are like, oh, I'm Filipino, I'm not Asian. I was like, okay, like you look Asian to me, but I'm Pacific Islander, I was like, okay, whatever. I see the theme around here. Like you don't even like accept yourself as an Asian. So me, I'm like, I'm Vietnamese, and they're like, oh, like, can you say ching chong? I was like, yo, come on, like please.
You know
Like,
Jackie Chan.
yeah, no, dude, I get that shit all the time, and then they're like, "Yo, like, are you related to Jackie Chan? You know kung fu?" I was like, "Man, it's."
Dude, that's
I was like, "No, I'm not kidding with you guys when I'm saying that. It's real. Like, that shit was real in high school. I mean, junior high."
It's funny if kids say that today, they would be busted.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would be
It's
in
so
big
different
trouble.
now.
Now, I feel like this generation is blessed with the fact that, like, you know, you don't like bullying is not accepted. You know, like,
It's canceled.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like back then, it was vicious. Like the moment I moved to Anaheim Hills, it was just like Asians don't even want to be Asians. Like, you know, and then I'm like, shit, this is bad. Like, I can't even find like Vietnamese kids here. Like, literally no Vietnamese kids like within my vicinity. I had to reset. I had to. I was like, I became like a loner again. Like just sitting by myself, like during lunch. Eventually, somehow I became friends with a bunch of white kids.
You had to.
I had to, yeah. Like otherwise, I either had to pick to be like become like a loner and just like be miserable, or just kind of like eat
Go
it up.
out of your comfort zone.
So what I did was like, you know, like Bobby Lee, he kind of used his like Asian side as like comedy.
Humor?
Yeah. I did that too. I'm selling out. Fuck it. Like, you guys think like the Asian accent's funny? Oh, I'll say those words for you. I'll make you laugh. And they're like, oh, Khoi, it's cool. He's funny. Like, you know, this Asian kid, like he have this funny accent. Like, he come hang out with us. You know, I became like the class clown. Like, I'll be like doing all these like Asian humiliation thing, like just to make them laugh. And then eventually they accept me because of that. But then during that time, I'm still trying my best to improve my English. So like eventually, like I think once it hits like 8th grade, my accent was like almost completely gone. And then they kind of like forgot about like the whole racist thing. Like, so like I was like, oh, Khoi doesn't even have an accent anymore. Like why would we make fun of him, you know?
Moving from Vietnam to Garden Grove and then to Anaheim, did you at some point like resent your mom for that?
Hell yeah.
Was your relationship like very tense?
Yes. Currently, me and my mom were super cool. Like, we're really close. During the whole, like, I would say elementary school, all the way till 27, 26 years old.
That's a long time.
Yeah, so just think like 16 years, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like when I was 10 all the way to like 26, when I finally like married her. We have always been tense. Ask her, like she knows.
Really?
Wait, guys, did he
That's weird.
like from an outside perspective? Like,
You
would you rate his relationship with his mom as like toxic or
Super toxic.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen.
Yeah,
You
back
mean your
then.
mom,
Back then.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I guess I met your mom.
like
It was
after?
getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they well the thing is they're both toxic though. You know, like they don't
Khoi's toxic.
they're on the same level.
You guys are
And
so-
they don't back down. You know,
Yeah.
their mother and son have the same personality.
Saying that Khoi and his mom are similar, what are some of the good traits that Khoi has, but what are also some of the bad traits?
If they want something, they work really hard for it. So like they will work until like they get sick. Like they work until they like have nothing left and like no energy left just to get the goal that they set. And another one, they really care about family, and that's like the most important thing to them. So I think that's good. Good things, but also a lot of the bad things.
What are some of the bad things, but like you
So
know
the
that
tea.
he's working on?
Caring about what other people say and their judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they always want to look good. They always want to sound good. They always want to appear to be polished. Like, you know, people have flaws, that's fine, but like they get tripped out if something doesn't go according to plan.
So like I'm
you
one of
know?
those person. It's like, let's say we had like a conversation at a party, and I felt like I said something awkward. I would
You
think
think
about
about
that
that?
for like years. I was like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe Gianna's judging me hella hard right now.
Aw.
And you're not judging me at
Yeah,
all. I'm just like,
yeah.
damn.
That's more like your like to me like I feel the same way, but like sometimes I think it's more my like when I feel like that it's more my OCD. Yeah, like I think I just continuously think about it and think about it and think about it. You know.
Do you think he's gotten better, Dice?
Oh yeah, we got
That's
way
good.
better. Yeah, I think thanks to me, honestly, because
Yeah.
I'm so like unbothered.
Yeah, because you crush him,
And
you crush his soul,
Yup.
and then now he doesn't know how to fight back.
Yeah. I got nothing left.
But he definitely worried less about what other people have to say.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
And I think that's
100%.
good. Yeah.
Do you think having Simba changed that though?
He found his place
Mm-hmm.
before Simba.
That's good.
So he was pretty already stable before Simba came. Yeah.
So looking back, what were some of the most like rewarding aspects of your experience?
Christmas. No,
Oh, Christmas.
I love Christmas. Yeah. I love like Cartoon Network. Like I remember like opening up the TV. I was like, we don't have that much cartoon in Vietnam.
Back in the day, probably.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, like now there's internet.
Yeah, no. Like back in the day, it was like Vietnam was really poor. Like I grew up when there's like, you know, like dial phones and black and white movies. Like that was still in Vietnam. When I moved here, I was like, damn. So
I had dial phones too at my house.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, so many cartoons. The air's clean.
Yeah.
Everything is clean, actually.
The food.
I still love Vietnamese food a lot.
No, the food portions.
Oh, the
food
big.
portion.
Yeah,
the food portions.
Fast food. I remember fast food was delicious. Like, I love fast food. Like a lot of Americans hated like school lunches. Like, but I had like a fond memory of like those crappy lunches because for some reason I love that.
You guys never had that there.
Yeah, no, I love like that soggy chicken nuggets.
Oh gosh,
I was
that gave me nausea.
No, I love that
No
shit
joke.
though. I was like,
the bag.
dude, I was like, I can't wait for that soggy like the
Chicken
pizza.
nuggets?
Yeah.
Oh, the pizza. Oh my
The-
god.
Very generic pizza.
Yeah,
Pepperoni
yeah.
pizza.
Yeah, like with no pepperoni, just cheese. But I'm just like, I know they microwaved it, but I'm just like, damn,
So
it was
good.
so delicious.
So if you could give one advice to someone like moving from Vietnam to America, what would you say?
In this generation, it's a lot easier because like there's communities out there for people like that. Like there's like there's Meetup. You could literally just go to Facebook, Instagram, and like find a group, and you can just meet people.
Sure.
Back then, like you're on your own, you know. But now, like my biggest advice is like if you're afraid and you're shy, dude, like if you're blessed enough to live in California, just go to Garden Grove. Go to a coffee shop in Garden Grove, chat up with some people. You will find your community instantly.
Yeah.
Like people are here to help.
I know in like Taiwan, they're speaking English a lot more than they were back in the day. Is it the same thing?
Oh, dude, yeah. Same with Vietnam
so
too.
like the culture shock, like your quote unquote accent coming in, I feel like it should be a lot less, right?
I feel like the accent is still there
Okay.
because like you can't really change that until you.
But your grasp of the English language is
but Vietnam nowadays, like I think English is like their main language.
Sure,
to be
yes.
honest. Just like Taiwan.
Yeah.
Like you go to Vietnam, everyone would know English.
Yeah.
But
the younger generation.
Yeah, the younger generation. But I think like my biggest advice for like the current generation and future generations is don't be afraid to branch out of your like, bubble. Like what I'm seeing from a lot of people lately is that they get too comfortable being in that like Vietnamese community bubble that they don't know like what's outside of it. Like there's so many like different things that you could experience, but they're just like there's literally some people don't even have to learn English in America, and they can make a living here because the Vietnamese community is so big. You could just like make your living in that bubble.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like life is more than just that
little
circle in Garden Grove or whatever. You could like meet up with like other people, other cultures, like
for sure.
Like meet some like Korean people, Indians,
Yeah.
like there's so many like of other people that you will meet. And I feel like a lot of people in this generations are afraid.
So if you weren't forced to move to the US, would you eventually go?
Realistically, probably not. Like if I wasn't forced, I love Vietnam. Like now, I love it here. I don't want to move back. Like 100%. But back then, like with that mentality of mine back then, like I wouldn't want to move.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think any kid realistically at that age, if that's where you grew up, wherever you grew up, that's all you know.
Yeah.
So it's like hard.
I still have a lot of like sweet memories of like Vietnam back then too. Now as an adult, I do appreciate the fact that my mom tried so hard for me to move here.
Yeah.
Like I'm blessed for that. Like when I think about it. But could she have handled it better? Yes.
Surprise.
Yeah, no, like the way that it happened was like it was not a good transition.
Oh,
But I feel like if she went like, hey, like sit me down.
Yeah.
Me and your dad, we're not working out no more.
Yeah.
Like we're separated, whatever, and I'm gonna bring you to Vietnam soon. If she had like, you know, sat me down and talked to me,
you mean bring to the U.S.
Yeah.
soon?
Do you think you would have been better about it?
Yeah, I felt like, I mean, I would be sad,
Prepared
but at least I know, like, oh, this is what's happening. But like in my case, it's like, surprise, motherfucker! Like, welcome to America, and here's your stepdad. You know, it's sad because I hated my stepdad for a really long time. But I love him a lot right now. You know, like it's
he's still there.
Yeah, like at first because he's a stranger. You know, like I have my dad with me, and then like now there's this guy, but that's like we didn't get along at all. But when I think back, I was like, damn, he's really trying. You know, like he was not like abusive to me at all. Like my mom was abusive.
But he didn't have any other kids then, right?
He did. He had two other kids.
Oh, okay.
That's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah, I hated him, but now it's like, you know, I see him as like my dad too. Okay. But you know, it took growth.
Yeah, for sure.
For all of us to get to this point. Yeah.